What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the three types of architecture models. So whenever you're building an architectural model, you would need to have one of these three reasons to build that model. It's either a working model and you're just trying to figure out your project through that model, or it's a presentation model where you're trying to present the whole final project, or it's a conceptual model. This is kind of an in-between stage, or it can be part of a final presentation where you're showing just the concept of your whole building. You're not showing the exact building through the model, but you're just showing the concept. So now I'm just going to be showing you some of my models that I've done over the years, just to illustrate the idea. So let's start off from these working models. So this is the one this is my favorite working model I've done so far. It's actually a clay model that I've done, and I was working on a project where I had kind of an organic building that's embedded into the ground, and then planes are going from the ground, and I had a big grass roof over all of this. And usually I like to do my whole projects in Revit. I like to start in Revit and play around with forms, but this was actually a very complex form, and in this case I like to use physical models, and I found that clay models work for me real good for modeling that. When you can play with your hands and kind of change the model really quickly, unlike in Revit where you're working with organic buildings, it can be sometimes very difficult to get to a final shape. Now of course Dynamo can help, but that's a whole different story. So when working with complex forms, I like to use clay models, or if you're just working with form and you prefer using your hands over some 3D program in the initial phases of design, that's okay. You can always use these working models. One more nice working model I did is this over here. So as you can see, this is just an arc that I did out of a piece of paper. So it's a model for a construction, for how would you call it, a structural design, where you would just have these flat planes out of concrete, and when you place it, it kind of works as an arc, it works as a structure. So this was kind of proof of concept that this flat plane structure can work. So that's why I did this model, and later on I did another kind of working model for the whole building that uses this construction system. So you can use working models even if you're just trying to figure out some construction systems. Modeling is a big part of form finding for some concrete structures or steel structures. Okay, and another type of a model is a conceptual model, which I think is mostly used on universities, but it can be very effective to portray your concept. So this is the favorite one I've done so far. So this is a conceptual model that I did, I think it was, second year. And I had this house that's kind of embedded into a hillside that's kind of like this. And then I had these two planes that split, and then they grab the living area of the house. So that was the whole concept, and I made this conceptual model that just shows those two planes that are grabbing my house, or holding my house in place, and I thought it was very effective just to show the whole initial concept of the building. Another one is this. This is I think this was third year, and I had this whole building complex where the idea was that the building is just the construction, which is this black part is the construction, and then whenever somebody buys an apartment, they can just kind of make it in a factory and customize it the way they like, and then just the crane just inserts it into the building. So I built this model, and then I left a bunch of these modules lying around, so other students when we were making our presentation could take these little models and kind of insert them into the building. So basically the final owners of the apartments are the ones that figure out the final design of the building, or the pattern of the apartments in the building. So that was an interesting concept, so I made this conceptual design. Okay, and as far as kind of real-life models and realistic models. They're mostly used in real-life work. They're really important. I know some people say that renders are better than these realistic models, but actually, when you're presenting your project to an investor, when you're just showing a piece of paper, it's different than when you have a physical model like this. So when you show something physical, a thing that he can touch and walk around and look at it, he understands the value a lot more than if you just show a rendering on a piece of paper. Even though a rendering can be way more realistic and it can show how would it look like in real life, models are very effective just to prove the value of your work as an architect. So this is one of those I guess you would call it realistic kind of cityscape models, where I just did it's an urbanism model and or landscape model where I showed a part of a town and then I showed my building, so you can see how does my building fit into the rest of the in the existing part of town. And if you want to learn more about this project, I've linked it up in the description of this video. I actually did a video just on this project alone. Okay, so that's it for architectural models. When you're working with, when you decide to make an architectural model, you first need to know, is it a working model? Are you just trying to figure out your building? Is it a conceptual model and you're trying to share the concept to people? Or is it a realistic model and you're trying to represent what this building would look like and you want to show the value of your project through this extremely realistic architectural model? Okay, so that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share this video. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.